you will have nothing to pass on to your children. You will have nothing to look forward to in retirement, because in a world where the people like Lagarde are in charge of everything, your future is working endlessly until you die.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Why Bitcoin podcast, the podcast where we question everything, but mainly why Bitcoin. My name's Jeff. I'm your host. Here's a fun fact, Doug, to throw you off. I built a swing set for my kid this weekend, but I didn't have the right tool for it. I got the right tool for it. He went on the swings today for the first time ever, and he did it all by himself. It was awesome. And then I went to take the camera out to record a video of him. And of course, the time I take the camera out, he swings, throws his head back, falls off. And I'm like, no. So I got that on video. And then furthermore, I'm like, okay, are you okay? Because it was a small fall. So I check on him and I do the thing. I'm like, my wife's not there. So it's just me. So I can do whatever I want, which is fun. And so I'm like, how many fingers? How many fingers? He's almost 3. He knows numbers. But so I put up 3 fingers and I'm like, how many fingers? And he says, I don't have any fingers. I was like, oh man, you're going to be okay. I'm joined with my ever gracious co-host, Doug. Doug, how you doing?
I'm good. My fun fact is I just planted my garden today, and it's I don't have a green thumb, so I'm expecting poor results as I usually get, but every year I keep trying. Every year for the last 5 years I've tried a garden, and this is the year. This is the year I'm going to get something, Jeff. This is going to happen.
That's actually awesome, man. Gardening is becoming very, very important. We're also trying to start a garden.
All right. Yep.
And we're joined by a very wonderful guest, a good friend of mine. I think we met very early on in my Bitcoin journey. So you started off with a different Twitter handle, but now he goes by Heartland Bitcoin. Everybody, a nice warm welcome for, what was his name? Dan.
It's on the screen, you goof.
No, well, I know, but I didn't have the screen, the right screen open. Dan, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Great. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk about why Bitcoin. And I used a different Twitter handle, but that was kind of my, everybody's got like one of those, or a lot of people have like an online identity that's anonymous where you just kind of go and cathartically rage about politics and things like that. That was my old,
your burner account.
It's my old burner account.
It was,
there you go.
Okay. Can I just
rebrand?
So can I say what it was? Just because I want to make sure I'm talking to the same person I think I'm talking to. It was It was DEZ or something like that.
Yeah, DEZ.
Okay, good.
So I've been told, for better or for worse, that I look like G-Eazy sometimes. Nice. So I go by DEZ.
I don't know who that is.
I actually don't know who G-Eazy is either.
Who is G-Eazy?
He's a rapper and from like the West Coast.
I probably should know him.
Oh, I only listen to East Coast rap. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. That explains it.
There you go. Hey, he's a good-looking guy. I just Googled him real quick.
Thank you.
Now I got to look.
That's he kind of looks like me, too. Maybe we're twins.
Is it easy with a Z or
Of
easy
course
with
it is.
S?
He's a rapper. What do you think?
I don't have
he's kind of like got like a. Who does he? Oh, he looks like who was that guy from?
He looks like every regular white guy ever.
Well, he looks like Dan. I mean, actually, Dan looks like Dan, I should say. But he also kind of looks like who's the guy from? What was the Entourage? Who was the agent from Entourage?
Oh, he does look like Ari
Ari Gold.
Yeah, but what's the actor's name? He does like a whole bunch of
something. Oh, I know what it is too. I love that show.
Jeremy
Piven. There you go. Yeah, so he kind of looks like Jeremy. So you're saying. What you're really saying is Jeremy Piven kind of looks like you.
Yeah, I've got Jeremy Piven's height, but G-Eazy's facial features.
There you go. Well, we're saying this is a podcast full of excellent-looking people, and that's why the video cameras are off.
Handsome.
Audio
that's
only.
right.
Right on.
That's right.
Okay.
So
Let's
everybody,
just
welcome to show. This is show 14.
14, man. That's a lot of
God, we've
shows.
made 14 of these things, and people are still listening.
We
So,
got to get to a
also,
point where
real
we're not
quick, I
saying the
still need to
number
say
anymore.
a shout out to two groups, I should say. First of all, still Australians. You're like number 2 right now on our listenership. So, hello to Australians, and
G'day.
anybody listening on Zencaster, which I didn't know was a thing until I started podcasting. Zencaster is like 50% of our listening audience. So anybody listening on Zencaster, big shout out to you guys. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
I didn't even know you could listen on Zencaster. Zencaster is what we record on. I didn't know you could go there to listen. That's cool.
Not Zencaster, Cast shit.
Something else.
Castbox?
If you're listening to us, we appreciate it.
Oh damn it.
Hey, if you're new to listening to this podcast, maybe this is the first one you've listened to and you want to find where else we are, you can simply go to whybitcoinpodcast.com. There you'll find my Twitter handle, Doug's Twitter handle, all the guests' information, and everything you'd ever want to know about why Bitcoin is there. So just
Well, at least
whybitcoin.com.
everything that I've put on the website so far. It's a hard website to operate, to be honest. It's a very weird back end.
Why is it hard to? Maybe we shouldn't get into tech.
No, it's just I've worked with WordPress before, but this is like a mitigated version of WordPress. It's very awkward, like because we actually got it through Anchor.fm. I don't. This is totally inside baseball, behind the scenes kind of stuff, but it's just a very weird version of WordPress. So it's a little harder to navigate for me.
Okay.
Could be just that I'm old. I don't know. Whatever.
It's
Moving
hard.
on.
Technology is hard. Bitcoin
It
is
is,
hard.
except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's easy.
No, Bitcoin's very
Absolutely.
hard. That's the
No, it's
problem.
not. You buy it, you hold on to it forever. You win. End of
It
story.
took you months to figure that out. It took you so long. It took you so long to figure that. I know it's so easy that it's frustrating how difficult it is for people to figure out. Okay, we're talking about Bitcoin today, but everything we say is not financial advice. This is just three dudes talking, and you should always do your own research, as we are not professionals or know anything about what we're talking about. We just talk about it. So no financial advice will be found here. Is that agreed upon?
All
Absolutely.
parties agree. In blood, pieces of 8, etc., etc.
Right on.
All right, so we do have this guest on the show, and we were talking to him a little bit beforehand. He's a pretty cool guy, and I'm excited to talk to him about what he does and what he does in the Bitcoin space, I guess.
Yes.
Jeff, what else did you want to say about that?
I'm excited to hear what he has to say too. We can jump into some questions for him, or do you want to hear my comment/hate/heartwarming story, or no?
I do.
Know. Dan
You
does.
do?
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
he's the guest in this dojo.
He's the
so
guest.
we
He said
will...
yes. Okay. I should just rename this segment of the show Jeff's Week on Twitter. It's very funny. So Real Vision posted a thing about some shit coin, whatever, and I just simply posted under the post, I put shit vision. And I had an onslaught of people come and attack me. Okay, it's called Thorchain. So Thorchain is some new product that you can trade shit coins for shit coins, and then it pumps in a new shit coin so you don't have to trade it back to fiat and all this shit. And people were just, okay, this is what the weirdest thing for me was. They were all like, you're an idiot, you stupid Maxi, you don't understand all this stuff. I'm like, can I buy Bitcoin here? They're like, yeah, you can buy Bitcoin with your stable coins. I was like, cool, where can I get stable coins? They're like, nah. And then they thought I was getting mad, and they're like, oh, you killed him. Somebody said you have to buy your Bitcoin from centralized exchanges. This is decentralized. I'm like, okay, that does sound exciting. I'd rather not KYC to buy Bitcoin. And that's when they're like, yeah, you need stable coins. So to get stable coins, you still need to do a KYC somewhere, which is stupid. So they're dumb. But they just kept going on.
Is that true? I don't know. I'm genuine. You can't get stablecoin anywhere except from a KYC
Well,
exchange?
a stable coin, I think, I mean, I don't know anything, but I'm pretty sure a stable coin runs on Ethereum, I think.
Well, there's most of them do. So you've got Tether.
I would say I haven't seen one that isn't, but
Tether runs on Ethereum as an ERC20 token, but it also runs on an Omni chain. And then US dollar coin, USDC, is now available on the Stellar XLM protocol as well as Algo. And
Okay,
I
so
think yeah, and I think there might be some other exceptions, but yeah, it's mostly Ethereum.
but can you get any of those stable coins without KYCing? Because if you can, like, I'll
Yeah.
swallow my words. How do you
Yeah,
do that then?
so you have to go to one of the decentralized exchanges, like I believe you can get it on Maker or Compound Finance, and you can get DAI. I think it's just pronounced DAI
Die.
tokens,
Yeah. Yeah.
and those are not backed one to one in a bank account like most of the centralized stable tokens are. So it's like algorithmically derived, mostly used for collateral. But you can get those on the decentralized exchanges, move them into your like MetaMask wallet or your Coinbase wallet, and then you can take that anywhere. The problem is Ethereum's network is awful. So I've got like $250, $220 in a wallet that I can't do anything with it, because to move it to an exchange, to move it to get interest, to move it anywhere is almost $200 or more in
Oh, so
Ethereum
it's
fees.
yes, so it's 200 and
Yeah.
whatever dollars in.
Yeah.
So that's
Is
your gas
For
fees or whatever. Is it 200?
yeah, I don't. It doesn't say gas fees, but I assume that's what it is.
There's a couple different fees that go with Ethereum, I think. Like there's the standard
Yeah,
gas fee, and then there's another
it's
fee, and
awful.
then there's still
The
mining
shitcoin
fees.
fees. That's why I call them
Yeah,
shitcoin
it's
fees.
just stupid. So just buy Bitcoin, hold it on a wallet, and then that's it. It's that simple, like we said earlier. So these guys were just telling me, "Oh, you got murdered. You're so done. Look at how angry this Maxi is." I'm like, I'm not mad at all. And this is the other problem I have with these is that yes, people say that Bitcoin Twitter is toxic and shit, but the thing is, for the most part, Bitcoin Twitter is just telling you shit that you should learn about. Whereas these people were just calling me an idiot and an asshole and a dummy, and I'm like, okay, so I'm just not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna try and figure out how this shit works because I'm curious, but this is not a good way to help people. Like if I was asking genuine questions, you know what I mean? Like, can I
Right.
buy stable coins, not KYC? And somebody's like, you're a fucking moron. Okay, like I'm asking a question. So I think Twitter is moving into a space where you're not allowed to ask questions there anymore, which happened like
Wait, are you saying that
rapidly.
people on Twitter can be abrasive and unhelpful?
Dude, it's frustrating
What?
because, but this is where I met D Easy. Like when I was new, I straight up either I messaged you first or you messaged me, and we had genuine conversations and
That's
helped
right.
each other learn. So
That's
in the
right.
Bitcoin space, I think there's a lot more people that are trying to help people, whereas anybody in crypto Twitter is just angry.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
yeah, your experience is of course what I've seen it everywhere, but generally I've found that if you are asking questions in good faith and you are not being snarky or just piling in on people, you usually find somebody that will be willing to help you, especially in the DMs. Kind of like
Yeah.
the conversation we had. But if you're in one of those pylons like that, your best bet's just to mute the thread and
Yeah.
move on.
People just get so excited to take people down.
Can I just point out the obvious though? Is that you walked into their space and you said
Yeah.
something about shitcoin. Like
I know I
Yeah.
did. I did ask for it,
you
didn't I?
that's like walking into somebody's bar and being like, by the way, they pee in the sinks here, and then walking out and then expecting them to give you directions to the next bar. Like
I
that's
Oh
know.
yeah.
I just
you kind of set yourself up to be harassed.
I
You know
was
what I'm saying?
overwhelmed though. Like it was more
Well, of
notifications than
course,
I've ever dealt
yeah,
with,
yeah,
and
I
I was
know, but
excited about it.
I'm just pointing out
I,
the obvious here.
it's
Like
true.
I'm not any great prognosticator or anything. I'm just saying if you want help on information, you should
don't be
probably
an
go make a
asshole.
fake account and then go ask them again and see if they're helpful this time.
Yeah,
Like
you're right. You're right.
I know
Well,
I
it's
hate to
still
be the
it's.
voice of reason or anything,
I
but
did at one point say, "Oh, cool! So it's a chain that trades shit coins with shit coins, so you can trade shit coins while you're trading shit coins," and they didn't
yeah.
like that
See,
at
I
all.
mean,
But that's
Yeah.
what it is. That's what it was. It's like, well, you
right?
can
Okay,
get.
but you called. Okay, oh my god. All right, look at it like a baseball team. Okay, like I used to really care about the Cubs and I used to hate everything else, right? And if I walk in to a bar in Milwaukee, let's say, and I'm like, yeah, your shitty ass baseball team, right? And I just say that, I will never get a good shake. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like, oh yeah, your shitty ass baseball team lost to another shitty ass baseball team, and then they went out and had beers, but they were shitty beer. Like, that's no, come on, man. Like, you got to be fair. Like, I don't know if we can bridge the divide because there are just like there's a lost.
It's a different way of thinking.
I agree. I agree. There, and I have, I have my own story about that this week about just can't get through to people, and it's ever so frustrating. But I just want to be fair. Like, if you come in and you kick sand in someone's face, expect them to constantly kick sand back in yours. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
That's fair.
What do I know, man?
You don't know much, but that's all right. Okay, so let's talk to
I'm just a mediocre co-host, so whatever.
Just mediocre. I liked that. All right, Dan. I would love to know your Bitcoin story. How you started, how many times it touched you before you went all in. Could you tell us all about that?
Where did it touch you?
I'm just excited. It's the most exciting. Okay, anybody listening to this podcast, hopefully we have new people coming in. That's my goal, is to get people that are brand new to Bitcoin. So one of the most exciting things for Bitcoin to me is talking to different people, being like, what's your story? Because it makes it more personal to hear, like, oh, this person also heard about it 7 years ago and didn't do anything, and this person also got confused. So do you have a cool story?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Okay, let's roll.
Well,
let's roll.
Let's do it, man.
I was in the Air Force right out of high school, and I got out. My enlistment ended in 2010, and right about that time, my experience in the Air Force had kind of made me weary of the American foreign policy, military-industrial complex, war machine.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? When was this about?
This was about 2010, summer of 2010.
I missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So around that time, I had kind of gotten into like libertarian politics, and that was kind of what I was really into. So I actually did hear about Bitcoin relatively early. I don't know if it was 2010, but it was definitely around early 2011. It sounded cool. I wasn't sure how to buy it, and I didn't really investigate it too much. I just know that, a lot of people talked about what it was used for back then, which was the dark web or buying drugs. But so where it gets funny is that summer, 2011 summer, I went to a music festival. I met this guy at a music festival. We were, I think we were doing opium or one of those, something that gets you
something heavy.
Up. Yeah. It was at Electric Forest.
Oh, cool. I wanted to go to that. I have a friend that goes to that every year. Cool.
But we stayed in touch, and I went to Texas, Austin, Texas, around Thanksgiving that year, where he lived. And I met up with him, and he was telling me about Bitcoin, and he tried to get me to make a purchase. And I was down, but I was like, I don't know how to do this. Can you show me what to do? So he showed me essentially how you had to download a wallet, and then you had to download, of course, the whole blockchain, and let that sync. And then at that time, you could buy the Bitcoin and store it basically just on your hard drive. So we tried to do that, and I was going to buy, I think it was about $50 worth. And I don't know what the price of Bitcoin was.
You don't want to think about
2011. But I was going to buy $50 to $100 worth. And we were drinking, so he might have talked me into buying more. The problem was the Bitcoin core kept crashing, and we wanted to go out to the bars, so we just kind of gave up, and I didn't come back to it until I got into it again. I didn't even think about it for the rest of from 2011 to 2018. So right after it crashed, the 2017 crash, the FOMO parabolic rise, I bought $50 worth, somewhere around $5,000 a coin. And I bought that through USAA, which is a insurance company that also you can trade online, stocks and things like that, where you used to be able to, but they had an integration with Coinbase. So I used that integration to pay.
I'm sorry, wait, did you say USAA?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the The
The
military, like,
military's
insurance
like
company?
yes, yeah, exactly. So that's why I
Yeah,
had
okay,
USAA, and they used to be
okay.
a brokerage. I used to have my Roth IRA through them,
Are you saying
and that
USSA, they backed your crypto purchase
they
back
were
then?
offering crypto as early, I think, as 2016.
What?
That's pretty
You could
wild.
sync your Coinbase wallet to their portal, their like brokerage portal, and it was like super buggy. It was always loading, and then you'd get an error, a pop up error, but technically they offered it. I don't know if it was my browser or what, but it normally didn't work. So
That's kind of big.
yeah,
Like, that's kind of a big deal, and it's, like, definitely
yeah,
news to me. I did not
yeah, right.
realize. That's interesting. I'm sorry.
So
Continue.
yeah, no, so after Bitcoin got up to almost 20,000, it crashed. I was like, maybe it'll go do that again at some point. So I'll just put in a little bit of money and see what happens. So I did, and I lost interest in it, and I just basically forgot about it again. So I had that $50 worth and didn't think about Bitcoin until last year, right around when COVID hit. I listened to the We Study Billionaires podcast. I really
Yeah,
like Preston Pish. I don't know if you
yeah,
listen to
I've
him,
listened
but
to a lot of that.
so
Great
yeah, and
podcast.
he's like a really smart guy. I really valued his advice, and especially because he was what we call a Warren Buffett value investor, and I literally live like maybe less than a mile away from Warren Buffett. So that's a big name, and there's a lot of, at least there used to be a lot of respect. Not that I don't respect Warren Buffett, but he's an old man. The future's now, But
The future's now. Warren Buffett is
so
dead.
when Preston Pish would really push Bitcoin, when I started listening to that podcast, I took it seriously. I thought, if this guy is saying there's something more to it than just this internet money, I'm going to look into it more, especially because they just passed multi-trillion-dollar bill. They're making our money monopoly money. So I got to figure out something that actually maintains value. Because like I mentioned earlier, being a libertarian, I've always been kind of sympathetic to the gold bugs. And I
Yeah,
did actually make a little bit of money off of like gold ETFs back in like 2011. So in my mind, I was going down that road again to being a gold bug until I looked into Bitcoin for the third time because of Preston Pish. And that's when I went to make a Coinbase account and I realized, hey, I've already got a Coinbase account. When did I open this? And that was back in 2018. And the $50 had essentially stayed. It was a little bit more. I guess by the
yeah,
time
because it would have been 5,000, and it still would have been around 5,000, so not much
yeah,
of a
I think my
change.
first purchase in 2020, I think it was about 7,000. So I had made a little bit of profit, and then I just started dumping money into to Bitcoin last spring, um, and
Grabbed it at a
I
good
was
time.
yeah. So I put most of my money in last summer, uh, and then I've been
It's
just
gone from
balls
there.
deep, so to speak, since then.
It's going all in from then on. Wow, dude, last summer. So there's a lot of us that anybody listening, see, that's what happens. You might think that you're way late, and then you realize, oh, these people have heard about. Like I remember hearing about it in 2012 or something too. Just in
Right.
overhearing it from somebody, and then it's just like it's new money, and then you just forget about it. So anybody listening that thinks they're late, you're not late at all. Like it's pretty wild. I mean, last summer, that's a pretty hot time to jump in. So
Right. Yeah.
GG's on that.
And I was when I got into it, I didn't just dabble at first. When I made my first purchase last April, so it was almost a year ago, I I loaded my phone up with like 4 or 5 different podcasts that I would listen to every single day. I was researching it like crazy, and I mean I was putting at least 3 hours a day into at least listening about it or um, searching the internet or social media just to learn more about it. And
Yeah.
that's when I heard about stock to flow. Stock to flow, I came across that around last Memorial Day. And then from that point, instead of
Can I
wait,
stop
yeah,
you right there? Because I don't
absolutely.
think we ever touched the concept of stock to flow.
What? Yeah, oh,
So
man. Okay, we should. Yeah, we should definitely talk about the stock.
For
Once I
sure.
saw the stock to flow model, I was like, oh,
well,
this
and
is
that's
game
I
over,
would
dude.
love for Dan to sort of maybe do a beginners, like a quick beginners course on stock to flow, just because again,
Ooh, good
this is
idea.
for people who are new to the space entirely. So
Yeah.
I kind of
So
know what it is,
yeah,
but I'm interested to hear your take on it.
so I it is actually a relatively complicated, I suppose, concept in a way, and then in some ways it's not. But it basically, you're taking a commodity finite asset. Um, it's typically used with something like gold, and as demand increases, there's a lot of so I'll start that over. There's a lot of assumptions baked into that model, and that is that demand will continue to grow and continue to increase as the supply decreases. So the way Bitcoin is programmed with these, 4-year cycles, with the halving cycles,
Hmm.
it is programmed to build a momentum of demand and then abruptly cut that demand in half every 4 years. And so that stock to flow is a mathematical,
Do you mean cut the supply in half?
excuse me, cut the
Yeah.
supply in half.
Okay.
So the mathematical model essentially, it calculates the the way that demand puts that pressure on the price, which kind of
Yeah.
cascades on itself to keep pushing the price up higher and higher and higher. And there's two models, I believe, that he typically publishes. And one of them, and this is where I don't know the second model and how it works in very
P
good
being
detail.
Plan B. Plan B
Plan
on
B,
Twitter, right?
yes, 100 trillion USD is
Yeah.
his Twitter handle. Um, the second model kind of has some assumptions that at a certain price, and it's I think a market cap of at least 5 trillion, that the demand spikes and starts to grow at a certain level for every step above that certain, I think, 5 trillion market cap price, the demand will actually go up higher. And I think that is modeled against things like diamonds and real estate. So there's
Hmm.
the assumption of that second model that I think has the price being somewhere in the $375,000 per
Let
coin at
me.
the end of
Can
this
I?
year.
Because I'm really new to the stock to flow. Okay, and let
Sure.
me. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to give you my take on it, and then you kind of just tell me, am I? Because I'm going to try to dumb it down, right?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you're throwing numbers out now, and
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
kind of getting
simplify it.
lost a little bit, right?
Simplify it.
So my my understanding of stock to flow, okay, which is sometimes how is it represented? 2SF, right? Like
Yeah.
if you see that as a
S2F.
nomenclature, S2F. Okay, so the concept essentially is as the stock of a commodity is reduced, okay, but the trading or the activity around that commodity goes up, right, then the value will go up.
Right.
Is that
So
accurate?
Hmm.
as the supply decreases,
Decreases, I'm sorry,
the
did I say up?
demand, yeah, well, and the demand puts pressure on the price to like drive it higher.
Right,
And
and so but
yeah,
stock to flow is different. So it's not just what is that called? Like the classic, supply and demand, right? It's different than that in the sense that because everybody who studies any like econ 101 talks about supply and demand, right?
right.
Supply goes down, demand if demand goes up, right? It like there's a price where those two things meet, right? Supply and demand meet at a certain point when you study econ 101, and uh, uh, a stock to flow is conceptually the same, but it also measures activity. So, like, if there's and I could be wrong, so I'm not stating this as fact. So everyone listening, I'm not stating this as fact. I'm
Hmm.
I'm asking a question. But so as the stock or as the stock of something, as in the amount of something,
Yes.
goes lower, and as activity in terms of trading increases around that thing that is reducing in availability goes up, then the price goes up. Is that
So yeah,
accurate?
close. It's about
Okay.
the flow of the new supply coming
Yeah.
into the market. So it's a ratio that measures the stock of Bitcoin or any resource and how much of it is available in circulation against the flow of the resource. So how much is being produced.
So the interesting thing about it is that never in history have we been able to make a proper stock to flow model, because when demand goes up for anything else in the world, whether it be gold or anything else you want to buy, the supply will on average go up. If more people want gold, the
Okay.
miners
Okay.
create
All right.
more
I see what you're
gold.
saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
With Bitcoin, we already know the supply, so they can map it out for the next 100 years. They can say,
Right.
at this point in
Yes.
time, there's going to be this
Right.
much available.
Exactly.
And so then they measure on the value scale the demand going up due to these halving events. So then you can
Yes.
measure that against the dollar price of it. And the scale is in a logarithmic form, so it goes up by magnitudes, where it's $1, $10, $100, $1,000. So actually, when you see an upswing, it's not just gradually going up; it's going up exponentially. So I think what I think is that the stock to flow model is only ever really been done properly with Bitcoin. Is that true? Or is there other places where
Uh,
they've used this?
I I think that I don't know if there's anything that's like totally accurate. I think with diamonds they can
Mm,
model it somewhat better. So to kind of circle back real quick, it's not that the supply overall decreases. It's the supply entering the market, being produced and entering to the market is what is decreasing,
mhm.
and that is what you're measuring against the demand.
Yeah.
So, and I think it would be great to like put some sort of resource in the show notes, because I don't want to butcher it or to
We're
It's
just
a complicated topic. There's
no,
no
it really
question.
is,
And
it's
as we
hard to
always say on this
communicate.
show, you guys got to do your own research. And to be
Yes.
fair, if you're new to the space, this is one of those advanced course kind of things that you don't need to necessarily know in terms of like just getting started. But in terms of the overall space, it is one of those things that is really interesting, um, because
it shows the NGU technology very well.
okay, I don't even know what you just
You don't
said.
even know what that is yet, do you?
No, I just said I don't know what you just said. Like, oh my god, you're so
NG
confrontational tonight. My god, did you eat your Wheaties this morning, sir?
Dan,
Bitcoin maxis.
yeah, we're annoying for sure.
Fucking Maxis. God, awful.
Doug is newly outed. He's still trying to get used to it all. I don't know what the cheese thing was about still, but I
Oh,
missed
Yeah.
that
By
one.
the way, anyone in the comments, if you can, or if Dan, if you can answer this question, if you can understand what the hell the cheese, because all I did is I opened up Twitter like 2 days ago, and it was like cheese this and cheese that, and I literally texted Jeff, and I'm like, guys, I was gone for 1 day. What the fuck is with the cheese?
I was gone for like hours. I was on Twitter, and then like 4 hours later, I went on. I'm like, why is there cheese everywhere? Oh no, what have I missed? And I tried looking for it too, and I couldn't find it. So I feel like it's an old school thing that
I
we're
think
left out of.
I think it has something to do with the olives,
Okay,
cheese and
yeah,
olives.
Oh, is that what
I
it
don't know
was?
that
Okay.
for sure. I don't know that for sure,
I thought
because
that might be it
they
too.
were going hard on the cheese and olives.
By the way, totally off topic. I just want to say, Heartland Bitcoin, you guys, you're putting out some good meme product, brother. Like
Thank
in
you.
terms of, I've felt myself almost a little competitive, honestly, because you put out some stuff, and I'm like, I gotta do something, man. Heartland's kind of got my game right now, and I feel inadequate. So
You gotta-
I feel torn as like as with a brand trying to be serious about
I think,
providing
yeah, I think you got to
resources and
let go of the
content, and then
seriousness.
yeah, I mean that's what I've been doing.
well,
It's just so
I mean,
hard to
let's
In my
resist.
maybe
opinion.
can we
In my
transition
opinion.
maybe to Heartland
Yeah,
Bitcoin and
let's talk about it.
that a bit?
Sure, absolutely.
Because yeah, so tell us what you do. Tell us what it is, why it started, what's your goals,
Yeah.
your dreams,
So similar to why Bitcoin, it's pretty young, it's pretty new. I started it. Well, the idea came, I would say back in, maybe it was, I want to say February,
Of this
when
year or last year?
of this year. So are you guys, I mean, do you guys follow the fake Toshi, any of that Bitcoin Satoshi Vision drama?
No, I don't
Or
know
do
if
you
I've
even know
seen
what I'm
that one.
talking about? Okay.
I follow a fair amount, but yeah, just give us
I
a.
don't. I don't.
So,
Doug
okay.
doesn't know anything that's going on.
No.
There's this Australian guy named Craig Wright,
Oh, okay,
Dr.
yeah.
Craig Wright. Yeah.
Yes.
And he claims to be Satoshi.
Stupid
And
Craig.
it's absurd. The guy, it's a cult basically. And I understand the irony of being a Bitcoiner calling something else a cult, but Bitcoin SB is a cult, and they follow this guy, and he's very litigious, and he's been suing a lot of people for hosting the Bitcoin white paper. He claims
Yeah.
that it is a copyright.
Are you
infringement.
serious? Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
that
He
came out.
claims,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
back,
a couple. What was it? Weeks or months ago, he tried to sue them, and then everybody just started plastering the white paper. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure I did it. It's
One
an
of the
and that
Oh, guys, why didn't you tell me about this, Jeff? I would have put that
you were
immediately
busy.
on the website.
You were busy looking up fucking how to trade
I'm sorry, I was
cryptocurrencies.
busy having a life. No, like,
No,
listen,
you
if
were
we can
busy.
get sued and get famous, let's do it, man. Put the white. I'm writing a
Yeah,
note right now.
this is
White
before.
paper on website
You
tomorrow.
haven't even
Got
read
it.
the white paper yet. Still, probably.
Yeah, I don't care. It's fine.
See,
that's
this drives me insane. But anyways, okay. So what else did Craig Wright do?
So he one of the people he sued was Cobra, the guy that owns Bitcoin.org, and a few of the Bitcoin core developers. And the core developers, a lot of them are doing it essentially as volunteers. So
Yeah.
it's they don't have a lot of resources necessarily, especially if they spent some of their Bitcoin in the early days. But so I was like, that pissed me off. And it was real. That Craig Wright guy just drives me crazy. And so I don't know why I spend so much time reading that stuff online, but I just like to get my blood pressure up.
Yeah,
So
it's like
I decided
same as
that
Schiff, basically.
Exactly.
Oh, shut up!
You just read
don't
it just
ruin
to
it.
get angry.
Don't ruin it. Just
Craig
keep
Wright
going,
is that
Dad.
exact same guy. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I wanted to host the white paper. I wanted to put up a website and say, screw you, Craig Wright. I'm going to host this Bitcoin white paper. So that just got me thinking. And I was listening to, I don't remember which podcast it was, but the guest was talking about how, if you were to go to a busy restaurant, if you were to walk up to everybody in that restaurant and ask them, do you own Bitcoin? They all say no. Do you know how to buy Bitcoin? And it very likely would be they all said no. So from there, I just I wanted to build a website that maybe was more targeted towards my area, so Omaha, the Midwest in general, and try to provide a resource to host the Bitcoin white paper and to just put out content that was not too over anybody's head, that was very practical, very simple, and to explain how to buy Bitcoin, where to buy Bitcoin, maybe explain without getting too much into the weeds, the technical features of Bitcoin, and just kind of have that content out there as another resource that somebody, especially somebody around here, that they could trust, maybe if they, it was coming from somebody in the Midwest. And then to just put that content out there and make that available. And I was, I'm still to this point, I've been helping people, friends and family and colleagues and such, to understand this and how to buy it and how to use a hardware wallet. And it's like to the point where there's some nights where I'll spend 2 or 3 hours on the phone with somebody, like explaining everything and helping them make their first purchases.
Mhm.
And it's, surprisingly, no matter how much stuff is out there, it's very intimidating to a person first stepping into the space on what to do and how to do it. And so I wanted to put that stuff out there and also provide potentially a service for people who, I guess what I noticed was that you could tell somebody what to do and how to do it, but they were still maybe hesitant to
Mhm.
do it, whether they were worried about losing it or, losing money, being
Messing up.
hacked. Right. So if somebody really wanted to have that trusted advisor or consult to help them make that purchase and make sure they did it safely and securely, provide that service. Because I was happy to do it for my friends and family, but it's somewhat time consuming. So I figured that it could be a potential service to offer.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask my question
Sure.
because I commend you for helping all these people. I think it's an awesome thing. I think we should all help as many people as possible
Yep.
get into the Bitcoin space. My issue with it is where you're turning into a service that somebody can pay for. And I think in my from my point of view, I think one of the main things about Bitcoin that you learn as you're going down the rabbit hole and learning things is that you're not going to learn anything unless you figure it out yourself.
Sure.
So I don't think by you offering a course to teach somebody, I think you're almost robbing them of that ability to become a more self-reliant person that can just use the internet, figure it out themselves. And I truly don't think anybody that doesn't do the work to figure out how to run their own wallet or how to run their own node, I don't think those people are ready to own Bitcoin yet. Like they should just still do whatever the hell they're doing until you decide, hey, I'm going to take responsibility for myself. I'm going to take control of my own money. Like that's such a major part of Bitcoin for me because for so long in my life, like I don't own my house. I pay rent, so I just give my money to the landlord. I didn't own my own business. I just sold my hours to the boss. All these things we just car insurance, all this shit we just give our rights away to. And Bitcoin really brings you down and says, hey, it's time to start taking care of yourself. And so that's my issue with why Bitcoin. That's why I started it, because we're by no means a explain everything to everyone, but I just want to be like one touch. Maybe somebody says, yeah, I listened to this one idiotic podcast called Why Bitcoin, and then I moved into the better podcast and I actually learned something. But at least to be that one touch to people to start their journey, I think is
Right.
an important thing. So do you feel, have you, well, maybe you don't want to answer this question,
No.
but do you have any?
But before you touch on that, I feel like I have to chime in. Hold on one second. So, I came into this podcast with the full intent to. I was not going to be pleasant with you, Dan. I really wasn't. Okay. But here's what I'm going to say. Everything that Jeff said is accurate and true. And I guess I'm going to kind of go to bat for you for a second here, because hearing your explanation, and I don't want to steal your thunder, right? Like I really hope you have more to add to this, but
well, maybe let him speak first and see how he feels.
Okay, all right, okay.
I think that's
let
fair.
him. Yeah, maybe that's the best way to go. But all right, go ahead.
I'm curious if you.
Yeah, let's. You're right. Let's hear the guy say the thing about the stuff. That's cool. All right.
Okay.
So,
so what do you think?
No, I understand your perspective, and I guess I'll start with the fact that the site is new, so there's not a ton of content on there, but I am putting out at least a few pieces a week, and my goal is to be a net contributor to the community, not a net taker.
Yeah.
I want to put out, and if you go to heartlandbitcoin.com and you click on the resources tab, it's what I've called the block source, and it's broken down into categories. Right now, I've mostly focused on kind of going over the different Bitcoin exchanges, the hardware wallets, the multi-signature solution, just things like that, the fundamentals for the most part. And I'm trying to put out as much free content as I absolutely can. And I'm trying to cover some of the more interesting news in the space and make that all available to anybody to learn from. And that's mostly what the site is. The services, as the thing that you kind of take
Offense to.
offense to, yeah. So what you said was about, and I actually agree with you, is Bitcoin is a journey. It's a personal journey of learning about something and discovering. It's like peeling an onion, right? I'm sure people have made that analogy quite a
Yeah.
bit. That there's more layers, and it just gets more interesting and more complicated. And the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything.
Just like
And
ogres too.
right, and
Ogres
but
have layers.
what I would say is that if you come into it and you start learning about it, how many of us learned about Bitcoin at some point in the past and then just kind of got bored with it, or we moved on to something else and we missed it for years? I think that and in my experience, this is true, if helping somebody to get that skin in the game can really supercharge their interest and their curiosity and to get them learning more about the space. And I think that if the biggest hurdle is to make that first purchase because you don't know how to do it, or you don't even know that you can buy a partial Bitcoin instead of having to put up $54,000 to get one. Whether it's $50, whether it's $100, whatever. Once you've got that initial investment, you've got that skin in the game. Then you're checking whether, I don't know if this is healthy or not, but you're checking Coinbase or whatever app you're going to use. A lot of beginners like Coinbase, but you're checking that app and you're checking the price all day long. And then you hear a politician or a celebrity talk about Bitcoin. You're getting excited about it. People start sending me texts, and then I'll start sending them more resources and saying, hey, check this out. Or I have a friend who's he's a little bit better off, got a little bit of money, and he's been buying a lot of Bitcoin, and he had it, and this is going to make some people cringe. He had 2 Bitcoins, all of it on BlockFi.
Yikes.
And I spent Saturday evening for at least 2 hours explaining how to set up a multi-signature wallet solution, a vault, essentially. So now he's, I told him, if you want, leave 10% of it on there and earn some interest, but get the vast majority of it into cold storage. And so I've just noticed that once those people get that initial investment, that skin in the game, they really, really don't stop yearning to learn more. And I'll just say this: if anybody were to send me a message and say, "Hey, I don't have the resources to afford, any of the products available on heartlandbitcoin.com," and I don't try to charge much, but if somebody told me that they really wanted to learn it and they wanted to have somebody help them through it, they just couldn't afford it, I would not hesitate to do that for free.
So let me ask you this then: have you thought of making YouTube videos?
Can I
Yes,
talk yet?
That is the next.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Mediocre co-host.
As I said, for everyone listening, okay, I was kind of apprehensive about this because Dan has been really good in terms of like talking and exchanging ideas with us on Twitter and supporting the podcast and everything else. So I was really hesitant about this interview. I want to be full disclosure on everything. And so I didn't want to come on here and sandbag him, but at the same time, I looked at the website and I was apprehensive about stuff because I didn't want to necessarily attach why Bitcoin to something I didn't believe in. That's full disclosure, okay? But hearing Dan talk right now and looking at stuff, okay, I'm going to say 2 things. Number 1, I understand exactly where he's coming from for a couple of reasons. First of all, I've had this experience. I've had Dan's experience where you talk to somebody, you try to bring them on board, and they don't get it. Right? They don't get it, or
Totally.
they're afraid of it, or for whatever reason they just won't commit. Okay, so I get that experience and I agree with it. I also understand the idea that, and this is the little hidden gem I think in what Dan is doing, is that people don't think information is worth something unless they're paying for it. That is a truism. That is just a fact. Okay, if you give something away for free, people automatically assume it's worth what they paid for it. That's just how it works. That's how life works. So those two things being present and true, how do I want to say this? I get what you're doing, and I'm gonna throw my support behind Heartland Bitcoin. That's me. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Now, that's a caveat. There's a caveat to that, and that is this: I really do think, looking at your website, okay, and I'm just this is the part where I'm gonna just kind of hit you with it. I
Sure.
think part of the problem is that you have these whatever price points or whatever your services page.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem I have with that is that you're not explaining why they should even care in the first place. Okay. And
Okay.
by that, I mean, um, well, first of all, I've seen you post about, shit coins, and I think that's problematic. Okay.
Oh, really? What shitcoins do
Well,
you have?
No. Let's. I just feel like we
well,
should.
I feel like maybe, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you've posted stuff about like ETH or Cardano or stuff like that. Am I wrong? Am I
You might be thinking
No,
of
I do.
misremembering that?
I'm a maxi.
You are a maxi. Okay.
If I do talk about Ethereum, it's usually a very negative. Um, so I do post a weekly report on stable coins. I do, and
Okay.
Jeff kind of was not into the stablecoin thing at the beginning of this conversation, but I think that
Well, who cares about what Jeff thinks right now?
you know,
Doesn't matter.
I
Which is
think that
all
everybody,
shit.
and this is not financial advice. I think that everybody, in my opinion, should have a certain amount of cash savings for whether it's dry powder to buy the dip, something for an emergency. I think the cash savings thing is very important. You don't want to have, some people don't want to have 110% of everything in Bitcoin. So having that cash savings account means having, probably a bank account, a legacy banking account that is you're losing money because you're not really earning any interest, and then inflation is occurring. So I think that putting even just, a small, maybe 10, 20% of your cash into a cash or a stable coin on a account where it's earning 10% yield, I personally think that is valuable if you're saving for something, whether it's buying more Bitcoin or you just need something that's more liquid. Because I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin, but I do want to have some cash on the sideline. So I do, I guess, promote the stable coins, but I do not. I don't promote the shit coins.
I should probably look in more to stable coins, because here's my thing about that theory is
Sure.
I'm coming at it from, I don't have like a high paying job. I have
Yeah.
a decent job, but I didn't have a cash savings. I worked paycheck to paycheck. I still work paycheck to paycheck. So even
That's
that,
because you buy Bitcoin with all your savings.
well, no, I just live on a Bitcoin standard. But um
Oh, okay.
no, but before that, I had thousands of dollars of credit card debt. I had no money in case any. I mean, I was lucky and I had a little bit, but a baby happened, and then a lot of your money goes out the window when that happens. So there's a lot of people right now that are starting to get into Bitcoin that don't have, like, when I hear things like put 20% over here and 10% over here, it's like I don't have anything. I have $0, so I can't
Fair.
split up $0 to 20% and 1%, which is why I tell everybody, just fucking buy some Bitcoin, live your life as usual, realize that Bitcoin is awesome, then put all your money in Bitcoin and then live your life as usual. Like, that's kind of my theory with it. But with
No. Yeah.
so and essentially my Bitcoin, like, I have a few different wallets. Like, now I just have a Bitcoin wallet that if the day ever comes where an emergency happens, I'll just sell that Bitcoin if absolutely need be. Otherwise, I just won't do it. So
Right.
I think having Bitcoin works as a emergency savings fund.
Okay, let me just hit the other point here real quick. Um, because I don't feel like I. Okay,
You're
I'm kind of
struggling
all over
today.
the map right now a little
Yeah, you
bit,
got
and
a
I
lot on your
apologize.
mind. It's
So
okay.
yeah, I do, I really do, and it's so, and I'm having a hard time, which is not normal for me. But so the only issue I genuinely have at this point, Dan, is that you have people, they're going to come to you, they're going to say, "Hey, I've heard about this Bitcoin thing, but I've also heard about this ETH or whatever." My only issue, honestly, at this point with Heartland Bitcoin is the idea of why. Okay, and what I would love to see, right, and take this as constructive criticism, right? Okay,
Sure.
is the idea of people have to understand that if they don't do what you're talking about, they're going to lose it all. Right. I keep going back to, and they are. I
And
mean,
Sure.
you
No,
say
for
I'm
sure. I
aggressive.
I no,
I mean, but
I
they're
agree with you.
but they are. I always think about my folks, and I just this weekend, right? My folks show up on my doorstep, and they're like, because my brother's going through some stuff, and there's a whole thing with that. But so I haven't seen them in a long time, and they show up at my doorstep, and they're like, "Hey, we're here now, and let's spend some time together." And I hit them again with the Bitcoin maxi attitude,
And you're
and
driving them nuts for sure.
well, I probably am, but my point is I'm not doing it
Fucking
to be a
snake
dick,
salesman.
right? And this is my point with Dan. I don't think anything he's doing is to be a dick. He believes in this concept, right? This is what I'm getting. And Dan, if
Okay.
I'm wrong, go ahead, you hit me, all right? But what you're saying is you run into people in your life where they hear about a thing. I hear about this Bitcoin. I hear about this crypto, right? And you have taken it upon yourself to um to sort of try to be their guide, their Sherpa, right? I think Odell, right? Matt Odell, he calls it like the uncle. Is it Uncle Jeff that he uses as the nomenclature? I
I don't know.
forget,
I
but
haven't heard
Uncle
that.
Uncle Bob's node, right?
Uncle Bob, is it Uncle Bob? Okay.
Yeah,
So
Uncle.
so Dan is saying I'm going to be the Uncle Bob to these guys, right? And if
Yes,
it's a
exactly.
if the strange if it's a stranger to Dan, right? He would like to be compensated for his time, which I don't think is unreasonable, honestly.
I think it
So
is.
my only problem is you should, in my opinion, you should definitely be more proactive in the idea of why,
Stay
right?
on brand,
Okay.
Doug. Well done. Staying on brand.
Okay, stay on brand, right? Okay, you need to I think you should be, and your business, man. You do what you got to do, but I I I think the concepts of like fiat currency, why are they dangerous? The creature from Jekyll Island. What does that mean? Especially because you're from Omaha, so you're a statey like me. You know, we have been lied to for generations, right? If I just really think if you showed people first why their savings, like my folks, right? My mother has worked as a nurse for
Right.
50 years, and she has had a 401k, and she has plugged money into that thing religiously, and now she has an X amount of dollars, and I'm telling her, listen, mom, please hear me. When you get to retirement, that will not buy you anything. It will be worth dick all.
Well,
You have to
they're
hear
gonna
me.
take it. I mean, all those
Well,
accounts are
but
not
the
gonna
point,
exist.
do you hear what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I am trying to protect the people I love, right? By telling them the money you're saving right now will not be worth the money it was when you first started saving it. And if you have the attitude of the money I put into my 401k or my savings account or my whatever, it doesn't matter. Um, it won't be worth it. And so if you get them to that point where they start to understand that, then they will be looking for alternative options. That's what everybody does. That's a natural occurrence. And so that's my only at this point, that's my only objection. Is that I would like to see a lot more of that from Heartland Bitcoin. And if
Guys,
that happens, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to sign up.
If you see a podcast called "Why Also Bitcoin" with Doug and Heartland Dan, then be warned, I will put out a cease and desist order. Doug's like, hey, what if you just made a podcast that told people why they should get Bitcoin? I'm like, dude, this is what the fucking title of the podcast is. Jesus. Do you know where we are? Do you know where we are? But just to answer your question, I know, sorry, Dan, maybe I'm taking the words out of your mouth, but it's because it's impossible to explain why Bitcoin in...
It's not, though. It's not. No,
I don't know how you can say that, dude. I really don't know how you can...
Listen, here's how I say that. Because every dollar you have saved as a boomer, okay, every dollar you've saved has been stolen from you at a certain percentage.
I understand that. I'm telling you that the people on the other side...
You understand
exactly,
that.
But you have to
explain
some
farmer in Omaha doesn't understand
exactly. So you can't just say that. You can't say, oh, you should buy Bitcoin because all of your money doesn't matter. They're just going to think you're a loony.
Well, it's becoming more obvious, especially to farmers, because commodity prices are starting to get out of control. And, I totally agree with what you said. And
wait, who? Me or Jeff?
Both of you, but mostly about the why.
Don't be like that. Just say part. Doug, because I'm
just saying.
What
do you?
I guess. From my perspective, and this is something I will take to heart. Thank you for pointing this out. It's an oversight, but I think where the reason that I haven't done that is because I feel like I'm trying to tiptoe a line of providing a tangential financial service without.
Whoa, that's a good word.
Being
Can you
financial
define
advice?
What's tangential?
This is Jeff's favorite game, by the way. Go
define
ahead.
that. Earlier listeners of the show would remember define that.
Yeah, let me just look it up so I don't.
See, this is why I get people
use in a sentence, but
this is why I get people to define that.
So it's touching lightly, incidental or peripheral involvement.
Good word.
It's a
great word.
I am
this
giving
10-cent word is my
financial advice without technically giving financial advice. I don't want to be sued if Bitcoin dumps and somebody loses their life savings. But that being said, I know, my girlfriend's a lawyer. I'm sure she can help me come up with the wording to get me, out of any legal trouble. But I agree with you. I think that it is, obviously I spend so much time in this space and thinking about this stuff. I obviously agree with you. And I think that is important. And it is something that will be added to the heartlandbitcoin.com content. And I, just to prove that I am not trying to be somebody like Pomp, that I was
going to bring him up.
What I said, a net provider. So I do have, and you said something about wanting to maybe learn more about stable coins. I have an interest rate stablecoin strategy guide. It's pretty big, or it's pretty packed with information.
Extensive. What's that word mean, Jeff? What does extensive mean, Jeff?
I know what extensive means.
If you are listening, if you are listening to this podcast, and it is April 26th, until May 26th, if you use the promo code HFSP, have fun staying poor, HFSP. If you use that promo code until May 26th, you can get the interest rate or the stablecoin interest rate strategy guide totally free.
And so where did you find all your information to put that together over a series of different... And welcome back to the podcast. Sorry, guys, we had a little bit of technical difficulties there. Brand new podcasters trying our best here. Okay, my question for you, Dan. You've set up an article for people to read about stablecoins. So again, couldn't I just Google myself for free and go do that? Like, are you telling me that the format that you've put together in your article is way better than what I can find online for free?
It depends. The article it starts off with an explanation of what stable coins are and how they actually work. And then it goes through the top, I think it's 6 or 7 exchanges platforms that I've decided, based on my research, are the most stable, the safest. You're least likely to lose your money or get ripped off. And I list all those platforms where you can, or how to sign up for those, how to get your stable coins and earn the interest rates on those, including some of the decentralized protocols. I list some strategies of what I call, there's 2 risks. You've got solvency risk and platform risk, which are kind of the same thing. Where is that platform, is that exchange um, likely to become insolvent, or they're risky? And then you've got regulatory risk, where if you have your money deposited on one of these exchanges and the country that it's located in decides to seize assets, or otherwise regulate stablecoins in a way that is harmful to the depositors, and how to strategize to mitigate your risks in that area. And as a lot of people don't realize that stablecoins are, with the exception of like DAI and maybe a few other DeFi coins, that they are not decentralized. So you want to explain how that process works and how you could still have your assets seized by the U.S. government. So I just kind of list out those strategies, all the different exchanges, and as many legal resources and things from the SEC and the OCC that I could find, and information about how Visa is integrating stablecoins into their settlement layer. So could you find that information on your own for free? Yes, you could. I don't know, everybody's got a different amount of money that they value their time at. And I think that at $10 or so, it would take you more than an hour, in my opinion, to find all that information. Several hours probably to really put that together. So if you value your time at $10 an hour, then I feel that it's probably worth it. If you think that you could figure this stuff out on your own, more quickly, or that your time is not worth that much money, then no, I wouldn't. I would say that it's probably not worth it to purchase the guide.
That's fair.
But that's
fair.
I'm a free market guy. If the service is valuable to someone, then they will pay for it. If not, then I won't make any money.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Doug, do you have a question? Any questions? I have one more question I want to ask.
No. I think I've said my piece on this. I feel like I don't feel how do I feel like I understand what he's doing, and there's a small part of me, like 5-10% of me, that's like, God, I kind of wish I'd thought of this earlier, because I could have maybe beaten Dan to the punch, but you know that's fine. I'll live with it. What's your next question?
Okay, my next question is for both of you. Do you guys not realize that all 3 of us, if you have even a small amount of Bitcoin, we're rich as absolute fuck right now? Like, it's insane how rich we are. So you don't need any more. Like, I really don't think any of us need any more money for the future. So that's why I don't think you need to charge for this. I think you could put it out for free and live a very happy life, which is why the Why Bitcoin podcast is free. And that said, people will say, well, how are you going to survive? And that's where I come in with my theory of, well, get a job that benefits society, which I think is what Bitcoin's trying to help do, is get people to do real physical things that help society grow. Like, spreading information is great, but that's something you can do for free. Whereas building houses or developing new infrastructure, all this shit that makes, like, I don't know, making all the physical things that make life better, do those things to earn money, because that's your time you're putting in, and your and then just give out all this information for free. Like, I'm very against colleges and universities and all these places charging kids for school, when just humanity in general would be such a better place if we just learned from the previous generation at zero cost. It just makes me nuts that these kids go to school for like 4 years, and then they get $100,000 in debt, and they're like, "Yay, I'm smart now." It's like, no, you're not smart. You just gave your whole life away for a fucking piece of paper. So it's just the whole idea of paying for education altogether bothers me. I think that is something that I'm trying to change, which is why what Sailor's doing, he's like, here's a course, just take it and then become a better person. I'm so for that. And then Pomp said, here's a course, take it and give me $1,000. Like, fuck off, Pomp. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. Humans get better by learning from mistakes. And so by learning from others' mistakes before you, you can adapt and evolve quicker. Like, I don't know. That's where I come
Dan,
from
do you
with
want
education.
to handle this one first, or should
Well,
I?
I think that is where it's going to be maybe a philosophical disagreement on, I can't say I disagree totally that information should be free, or that you should do things to help people for no charge. But I think that realistically, in my opinion, there's only so much time in a day, and prices help signal value, and having prices
Thank you.
on
That's
things
accurate.
is
Thank you.
how
Keep going.
it's kind of how we aggregate resources, and how we efficiently make sure that there's enough of what matters, and not we don't worry about the supply of things that aren't valuable. But so that's where I guess I stand on that. But I would say that you mentioned the Pomp thing for $1,000 for a class. I try to not. I wouldn't charge $1,000 for anything. At least nothing that Heartland Bitcoin offers.
Bro,
And I wouldn't charge somebody money if I didn't think they would make more money after they've got that information than if they didn't know that before. Because when I tell people about, hey, you can have your money in essentially a savings account, earning 10% to protect yourself from inflation, nobody knows about this stuff yet. And
mm-hmm.
and I post this stuff. I just posted today's the stablecoin report. This my last tweet, and that's free. It tells people where the interest rates are, and every week I update that information and say what the rates are. But the strategy guide is a lot more in depth. And if somebody wants to pay $10 for something, or $8,
all right, Dan, stop. Stop defending yourself. Stop it. Stop. Okay, because the bottom line is, look, Aristotle, Socrates, they had to have some sort of income. Okay, they didn't disseminate knowledge for nothing. Okay, and maybe it was chickens or whatever, but the point is, and I can't believe this, honestly. Like, I have become just like the antithesis of what I thought I was going to be on this podcast. I genuinely have. Okay, look, I don't think that the idea of consolidating knowledge and offering it to somebody is a bad thing. Okay, and the idea of for a couple of reasons. Okay, number one, as I said earlier, people, they look at value. And if you give your stuff away for nothing, you will be perceived as offering nothing. That's the way it works. That's the way humans have always worked. Okay, why is welfare not an option? Why does welfare not work by and large? Because they get something for nothing, and then they assume that everything is worth nothing, right? So
Right.
I don't really begrudge Dan for saying, listen, I'm going to compile information for you, and I'm going to give that information for you. And for my time, I would like not a premium necessarily, but I would like compensation for that. Jeff has made me, he's made me defend this, and I can't not do it, because I think what you're doing is important, and I understand why you have to put a price tag to it. And you have to put a price tag to it, not just because it's your time, but because psychologically you will not get more people into the space if you just get it to people. Like, Jeff, how many times have you said on this podcast, I texted, I emailed, I twittered every person I know, right? Now, what's the percentage of people that said I don't care, and they walked away? You and I both know, between us, we know at least a dozen people personally that we have tried to extend this knowledge to, and they just won't take it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and those are people we know. Like, we have talked to them, we've had long conversations. You and I have had several private conversations. I just 2-3 weeks ago, I was saying to you, there's a guy I know, very personal. I said, hey man, I think this is a really important thing, you should really look at this. And he was like, nah, I'll pass. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
so, but
Okay.
imagine that conversation with someone you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, I
Okay.
mean, maybe you want to
And
take the
So
Darwinian, exposition
I
of,
think that's where I'm going with it. Is that you're saying, well, this is just how humans have always been. Yeah, but humans have always worked on a currency that's gone devalued. So, to what you're selling to is people that are still fiat brained, right? So they're just like, I don't know, my money is useless. But you'll never in a hyper Bitcoinization world, you'll never be able to sell education. The people will be too smart to want to give their Bitcoin
and
away.
and I guess my only defense of, for lack of a better term, my defense of Dan at this point, right, of Heartland, is we are not in a hyper Bitcoinization world.
Okay, and see,
And I
this is
want a hyper Bitcoinization world. We need more people to get educated on this. And if Dan has found the key, then I'm all for it. I genuinely don't care, because I do, looking at what he's offering, I don't feel like he's gouging anybody. He's not a pomp at $1,000, whatever. So I think you have to take into the idea, you have to incorporate the idea of psychology and value versus worth and value versus price, right? And you also have to understand that, look, okay, I'll take it from a different standpoint. Let's say you have somebody who, he just wants everything from you for free. At a certain point, you're going to say, listen, I have a life to live. I have a child on a swing that has just hit his head. I don't have time for this. You have to, at some point, you have to put a value on your time. That's the whole concept of Bitcoin. It's the idea that money is time, and so to I don't know, man, like, just
exactly.
the
So
idea.
it's definitely about standing up for yourself. So if somebody keeps prying at you, give me more, tell me more, tell me more, just tell them to fuck off and go learn it themselves. There's so much information. The
Right, but
internet
that
exists.
doesn't.
So
Go
if they
ahead.
want to learn more, then they can go and do that. That's what I'm
I
But
would,
that
saying.
but
And
if
that's what they should
oh,
do. When
listen,
I started
every
talking
bit. Go ahead.
when I started talking to you, I simply said, "Hey, you should look into this." Did you prod me with 1,000 questions? No. Did you have a few? Yes. So I answered them. You didn't keep
Right.
attacking me because you're smart and you think for yourself, and that's
But
what a Bitcoiner has to do.
I was low hanging fruit on that ladder. Okay. What we're talking about right now with Heartland Bitcoin is, we're talking about the idea of people that are not low hanging fruit. We're talking about people that are not going to go out and do their own research.
Then
They're
they're not
just
going to
not.
understand Bitcoin. It's that simple, is what I think. I think
I will. Yeah.
if you go out to pay for a course to learn Bitcoin, you've already punched yourself in the head because you don't understand from the first second. Like, the first thing you're gonna do when you pay for a course is realize, oh, this was a bad choice to pay for this course. At least I hope that.
Are you though? I don't know. I mean, if Dan could teach me, let's say he could teach me how to, and this is something I'm personally working with right now. Like, how do I set up a lightning node, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So
I would pay legitimately for a lightning node setup, just to understand what it means and how it works. Right? There's a lot of permutations where information would be worse. And I'm saying that as somebody who has tried to find YouTube videos, tried to find Reddit posts. I've tried to find information on how to set up a lightning node. I have a lightning node. I can't fund it and get it to work. I just can't do it, So if I got to pay somebody 10, 15, $20 to figure out how to do that, I would be happy to do that because I believe in the project and know what it is. Again, my objection right now with what Heartland Bitcoin is just he doesn't explain the why. And I'm sorry that we're talking about you, Dan, in the third person right now, but and I apologize for that. I really
Doug came
do.
out swinging at the beginning of the show.
But
He's like, I don't know,
but
man.
I
Are we
was
going to be mean to this guy or what?
yeah,
I'm like, I don't know
I
if
was
you are.
legit like I don't want to make Dan not a fan. I don't want to upset him, but at the same time, I have concerns. But hearing you explain it and what you're doing, man, I think it's admirable and I think it's legitimate in my estimation right now. And I could change, I could be wrong. Maybe Dan's a massive scammer. I doubt it.
That'd be
But
funny.
I'm just saying,
I
like
don't think Dan.
I
I hope
no, I don't
Dan.
think
I
he
hope
is
you haven't
either.
taken any offense to anything. I think if
No, of course
anything,
not.
it's just a way to think. We're all thinking different ways. Nobody's right or wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody's right and wrong,
No,
I guess.
I
But
don't know. I mean, let's let Dan kind of have the last word on this, and let's kind of move along. But
Yeah, no, I just to clarify a few things. I really don't want to like try to give people paid courses. I really expect to focus on the areas where people have the most hesitation, whether it's transferring your Bitcoin from one wallet to another for the first time, when you're like, "Am I going to lose this into the ether forever?" And just kind of going through the parts and making sure it's ultra clear if you're putting your money here, you're moving your bitcoins here, and this is how you do it, and this is how you do it safely, and this is what you get. For example, a hardware wallet that is secure, um, and so you know how to use that wallet, so you're not, so you don't lose your wallet at some point down the road and not understand how to recover your Bitcoin with your seed phrase, things like that. That's what I'm really trying to go for, where even even people like my colleagues who are fellow software engineers, they are intimidated by that kind of thing, and I know that less technical people are. Second, I do plan on actually putting together some YouTube videos on how to
right on.
set up an Umbrel node, and B, how to set up a Lightning channel, because I am really hoping to get together with some other Bitcoiners to open up a couple channels and kind of pool our liquidity, perhaps, and facilitate that, as Matt Odell calls it, the Uncle Bob Lightning node.
Nice.
And just before we go, I just wanted to reiterate, I don't know if it got cut off when we were talking earlier, but if you want to check out that stablecoin guide for free for the next month, just make sure you use that coupon code HFSP.
Nice. Okay, so
we're gonna give you time to pimp everything, dude.
Yeah.
Regardless
Okay.
of anything
Cool.
that's been said, there's more to come here. So as long as you're good, I mean, if you have to go, that's fine.
I probably got 10 more minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to say, yeah, I think at the end of all I'm saying is like, yeah, if you just make YouTube videos, then people don't have to pay you direct. You still earn an income from ad revenue and all these things, and it feels more morally right to me. So if you make YouTube videos, I think you'd benefit really greatly from that, because you have a lot of knowledge, and then that way it's there forever, and it saves you an immense amount of time because you don't have to keep saying the same thing. So definitely,
That's all true, but also at some point we're gonna sell T-shirts. So I mean, make
but
your coin, brother. Just do it. It's fine. Whatever. I don't got a problem with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Well, and you know what? At the end of
T-shirts. Did you just say we're going to sell T-shirts?
Oh, we're gonna sell T-shirts.
Of course, we're going to sell T-shirts. That's
yeah,
different,
because
though. That's
you know
not
what?
information. That's just a T-shirt.
swag.
You can't make a YouTube
Exactly.
video of a T-shirt and get somebody to watch it and have them feel like they're wearing a T-shirt.
Watch me.
if we had the right production company, we could.
Yeah, maybe in the digital future Pom's talking about. But anyways,
All right. I'm not
okay.
going to sell
I
an
feel
NFT, but
I feel like we made some good progress here. Maybe we got a little bit more out of this one than usual. I like.
all right. So as per usual with all guests, Dan, I'm going to ask you on the spot. I'm going to make sure that you're going to come back on the show at some point, right? Have we offended you too much, or will you come back on?
No. I'd love to come back on, and I really want to pick your guys' brain about like more of the philosophy of why Bitcoin and like the what you think about the history and all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna
Very
start
cool.
getting into that more now. Now that Doug is actually a Bitcoiner rather than a shitcoiner, feels good to move on to that.
All right, so Dan, I know you got to go in a few minutes. Do you have enough time, do you think, to maybe do two things really quick with us? Number one, we would really like to shit on a no coiner, and then maybe if you have time, could we maybe do a price check with you, or is that too much?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
All right.
cool. So
So
you want
I'm
to
going
do
to play a clip right now. This is actually really new tech for the show. I'm super excited to try this out. All right. I'm going to play a quote from, I don't even know her first name. It's just Lagarde. Okay.
Lagarde, Christine Lagarde?
Christine
ECB.
Lagarde. She said something this week, or maybe it was last week, maybe, but it has just, I am so ready to just tear this person apart like a
Dunk
pit
on her.
bull, you
We
know,
haven't
like
dunked in a while.
we haven't dunked in a while. So here's why I want to play this. Okay. I'm going to play this clip. I want to hear Dan's and then Jeff, and then I'll tear into her, and then we'll do
Price check.
what price check. Yeah, so
Cool.
say
All
that.
right, cue the dunk on a Bitcoiner music.
Cue the dunk. Here it comes.
I completely appreciate that people who are saving are not satisfied with being charged the consequences of negative rates. But we have to look at the situation from a global point of view. We cannot look at a particular depositor or a particular category. We have to look at the whole economy. And we know that by putting in place those negative interest rates, we are effectively supporting the economy. We are encouraging enterprises, families, households, young couples to actually borrow at very low rates in order to invest, in order to buy their first apartment, in order to buy some equipment. And, the contribution that is in order to support the economy, in order to make sure that jobs are kept, in order to make sure that corporates can continue to operate and produce, is clearly a trade-off against some aspects that are resented by those that are only savers and are not borrowers.
Okay, yeah, go in. Start dunking.
Lagarde's comments remind me of a few weeks ago. Chamath was trying to argue that inflation was good for poor people, and that he was
Yeah, he did.
he was citing some index to suggest that the inequality rates were the lowest point ever, while we had the highest inflation, and he totally seemed to miss the fact that it's easier to make the top the elites poorer than it is. I mean, the poor can only go to zero. You can't. I guess you could go into debt, but it's they would rather that we all suffer more as long as there was less inequality. So, and it sounds like she's just saying the same bullshit. It's how can we debase the currency and make ourselves richer if we don't do negative interest rates? It's like, do you expect like this poor person suffering to raise their family? Like, what are they going to do? Go get a cheap loan to buy some credit default swaps? Like, I don't know what
Exactly.
what brainworms these people have, but Bitcoin's going to beat them, and I hope that we get to see the look on her face when the pleb revolution begins.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, what you got on it, brother?
It's so silly because we would all three of us be absolutely shitting ourselves right now if Bitcoin didn't exist and all these things were happening. But the fact that Bitcoin exists and they're still trying to pull off all of these absolutely like crazy evil things is just so silly. So it feels good to be a Bitcoiner watching these and you can just kind of chuckle along. But then like it also leads me every morning to wake up in a panic, be like, oh my God, everybody's gonna lose all their money. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? But at least being a Bitcoiner, you feel good. You're just like, yeah, it's all gonna be fine. Everything you say is stupid. Just leave me alone, Christine. Fuck off and have fun staying poor.
Well, the problem I have is she's not going to stay poor. She is wealthy. She's very wealthy, obviously. And my biggest problem with that clip that we just played, which was totally unedited, was the idea that she thinks it's good for you to pay more. You listening right now, you're working a job, You go home, you got to deal with the kids, you got to deal with the finances after the kids go to bed. You got to, you got to write out the checks, you make the payments. No. It's better for you to not be able to save any money at all. You will have nothing to pass on to your children. You will have nothing to look forward to in retirement, because in a world where the people like Lagarde are in charge of everything, your future is working endlessly until you die, right? And you never save, you never pass that wealth on to your future, you don't get to retire, you just keep working until you're dead. That's the idea. The absolute tone deafness, the absolute hubris is it's evil. It's pure evil. I have no other word for it. The idea that we're going to make your time worth nothing at the end of the day. The toil and labor that you go through in this life is worth nothing at the end of the day. And we're okay with this. We're fine with this. We can't take sides. We're just going to steal everything from you. It's evil. And honestly, she's not, I can't even dunk on her. I just dismiss her. I just dismiss her. I'm sickened by that statement, to be quite honest. It's
pure
disgusting
evil.
to me.
Yeah, it's pure evil.
I have no other word. I don't even know what I mean. It's slavery. She is advocating for economic slavery. That's what she's doing.
Yep.
So
Which
tell me I'm wrong.
I mean,
chat, go ahead. Make a comment
right
somewhere.
So that's what's going on right now is economic slavery, man. It's not like it's anything new. This is what's
But the idea that you're going to put money into a bank and they're going to take a percentage because you're saving?
Yeah, but it's just crazy because it's nothing new. That's what they've been doing for years with inflation. So
well, true.
It's just it's just a more extreme account, and yeah, she's gonna stay poor. If she doesn't have Bitcoin, she's gonna be very poor. It doesn't matter if if she's the owner of a failed monetary system, then who gives a fuck how much thousands and zillions of pounds she has? Nobody wants your shitty pounds, Christine, so fuck off with that shit.
Get Bitcoin. Opt out. Opt out of the system.
That's right. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
Right on.
All right. So real quick, before we go, Dan, please give out your website, give out your Twitter, any following thoughts, and then we're going to do, what are we going to do?
Price check, baby.
Price check.
Yeah. The website is www.heartlandbitcoin.com. You can follow me on Twitter, HRTLND Bitcoin. I got some good memes. Check those out.
You do have good memes, brother.
And if there's any content you want to see, any videos, anything that you would like a tutorial or a review on, send me a DM or a message on Twitter, and I'll do my best to get that up there. I'm just trying to provide as much information that's valuable to people as I can, and that's the mission of Heartland Bitcoin.
Hey man, I want to say thank you, because it really was true that when I started learning about Bitcoin, you were one of the first people that contacted me just in Twitter DMs and helped me a lot, learn a lot of things, set me in the right direction. So there's good people in the Bitcoin space, and I'm happy.
And Dan is one of them.
Yeah, you're one
of them.
Man,
just say it. Just say it. Say it.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah. So thank you, Dan. Seriously, dude. I really appreciate it.
Helpful.
Yeah, man. You're good. You're a good guy.
Dan is a good guy. Yeah. All right. So
maybe.
All right. Let's do this week's price check. Why Bitcoin presents your weekly price check.
Cool. You know what? Okay, this price check is brought to you by, not actually brought to you by because it's not an official sponsor, but I want to talk for a quick second about ShakePay. ShakePay is
I see. Okay.
Yeah, ShakePay is an app where you can buy and sell Bitcoin, and also one other shitcoin if you want it, which annoys me. But anyways, ShakePay is an app that you can buy Bitcoin in Canada, and I decided to take a look at it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty quick. The process is smooth. It's a really clean app. And when you every day you can shake your phone, literally physically shake your phone, and you get sats. And on my first day, I got 150 sats. I was like, well, what the hell? Because on Fold app, they give you like 5 sats on average with your rolls, right? If you're just doing the free one. So 150 for my first day, and that goes up every day. So people are on like 200-day streaks, and they're getting 1,500 sats a day, which like that's not a little bit of like that's a lot. So that's pretty cool. That said, when I put in an amount of money in there, it took a minute for, or not a minute, it took a long time for it to go through. So I contacted their support lines and all of their Twitter people and as many people as I could with my connection, like, get me in touch with these ShakePay people. I need to talk to them. And eventually I did, which was cool. So they're going to be sending me a t-shirt. So I'm pretty hyped about that. But also, I'm going to try and get one of them on the show, hopefully to talk about ShakePay. What else? I wanted to say one more thing about them. Damn it, I forget what it was. Anyway, ShakePay seems okay. Check it out if you're in Canada. And if you're in Canada, definitely...
Yeah, you know what, Dan? You and I can't do ShakePay, so I'm really super glad that we're sponsored, quote unquote, by them. That's cool.
Well, I've got a thing on the website that lists all the best free ways to get free Bitcoin. Maybe I'll add that for the Canucks there.
Nice, yeah, that's a great idea.
There you go.
Cool.
And you know what? I would like to say that this episode is not sponsored by Heartland Bitcoin. Heartlandbitcoin.com. Go check it out. Absolutely. You know what? Just check it out. That's all I'm asking.
Doug's heart is so large because at the beginning of the show he was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this episode, man. And to be like,
no, he made a good case, dude. Listen, I
know you have a large heart, and I'm proud of you for
he
it.
made a good case, and I believe in it. Yeah. I understand what he's doing, and I like it. So cool. You know what? I don't apologize for changing my mind, man.
No, that's good. It's good.
If you come on this show and you make a good argument, I'm all about it. You know. So Dan's Definitely. Made a good argument. I like him. I hope he comes back because I feel like we kind of pissed him off a little bit. But you know what?
Not at all.
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
No, not at all.
All right. Not at all. I had a great time.
All right.
So
we'll go out for malt later. That'll be cool.
That's right. Some cheese curds.
Oh! All right, you win. Cheese curds. Yeah, yep. All right. Yeah. Me and Dan are doing a podcast. Check it out next week. It's called Why Heartland Bitcoin. It's gonna be great.
I'm all alone. Okay. For those of you that are new here, every week we do a price check. We check the price in US dollars and also Canadian loonies just for funsies. And we both make a guess to say what the cost is going to be of a single Bitcoin the following week. And last week, Doug, what were our guesses?
So last week I said 63,947 and 50 cents, and you said 63,549 and 92. Now here's where it gets interesting: is that I currently have 53,652 and 23 cents.
And what were the guesses? You said it too fast. What were they? Just say the first two digits.
63.
Uh-huh.
And we both had 63.
Oh, really?
But I had 947, and you had 549. So I think,
closer,
yeah, I think you are actually. Wait, hold on. No.
Yeah, it's 6.
Yeah?
It's 50, 653.
Yeah. You are actually closer. Jeff, you actually
this is
won
my first
one this
dub,
week.
My first win. Wait, what was the?
I think this is your second win, but okay, that's fine. All right.
Oh, cool.
All right, good job.
What was our guest's guess?
We didn't have it.
Oh no, he had
no.
Yeah,
Ricky left early last week, so we didn't have Rick. We didn't have a guest.
So that's one point for me. So I think the score is. I don't know.
It's like 15-0. Or
we have followers that pay very close attention to the scores.
For
sure.
I'm sure they'll yell at us in the chat there. So let's take 30 seconds. We'll come up with so Dan, next week Monday, what do you think the price point's going to be in USD of Bitcoin? This is non-binding, obviously, and we'll take 30 seconds to come up with a number down to the penny, and you go first, okay?
Yep. So this Friday is the end of the month, so that's options are expiring, and that's usually really good for the Bitcoin price. We just shaking out all the leverage. I think that we could see Bitcoin at 67,235 and 14 cents.
235 and 14 cents.
67. Dang. So bearish.
Okay. So bearish.
I'm gonna say, Doug, do you have yours written down?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I think we're in the 70s. I say 73.
What?
I say 73, 429, 14. We're hitting 100K on 11 May.
429.14.
Yeah, 73, 429, 14. Let's go
All right,
70s,
and
baby.
I am the true bear here. I'm gonna say 60,550.
Oh no,
550 cents.
no, we're screaming up. We're gonna go screaming up this week,
I
man.
hope so, dude. I hope so. That'd be great.
Before we go,
So-
are you guys going to the Bitcoin conference?
It's too far away for me, and my
Yeah, I
Communist
was
Party
not.
doesn't
No,
let me
I
go
have other
across
things.
borders.
I'm not going to do it this year.
All right.
So
I'd love to go, but yeah,
Just wanted
I'm
to
thinking
let-
about I'm thinking about making my own Bitcoin conference because of all the shitcoiners that are going to be there. I tweeted that out. I was like, we're gonna make
Did you?
we're gonna make a new Bitcoin conference with Bitcoin.
with only maxis.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
All right. All right.
Do it in
Okay.
Windsor, Canada. Invite all the 19-year-olds to come party.
I can't go to Canada, dude. I'm not gonna. I'm not
I
gonna get a
know.
vaccine. That's not
That's
gonna happen.
Freaking communist Canada. up here.
I know, man. I know.
All right, is that it for the show? Thanks everybody and all that jazz.
Well, let's do one more recap on everything. Let's let Dan pimp himself there.
Oh yes,
And
yes.
get final word, and then we'll close up.
Yep. So yeah, like I said, heartlandbitcoin.com, and if you use the promo code HFSP, which stands for Have Fun Staying Poor, you can get the stablecoin guide for free until May 26th.
May 26th. I'm writing it down.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Doug's hitting it up. Cool, man.
Why May 26th?
It's just a month from today.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I like it. All right.
If you don't
All
listen to Why Bitcoin, you have to pay.
Yeah. Oh, this is a Why Bitcoin exclusive, first
Ooh,
ever.
right.
Feels good, man.
That is actually it's
That actually is
exclusive.
really cool. That is cool. Thanks,
Thank you, man. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
Dan. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. I know we gave you a hard time, but I don't know, man. You handled it well, and I appreciate the honest dialogue, which is, I think, at the end of the day, what everybody really wants is we just want to be able to talk fairly and openly about stuff. So I think you handled yourself well, and we really appreciate it. I really do, and I'm looking forward to having you on again in a couple of months when Heartland Bitcoin is top of the heap when it comes to Bitcoin education, right after whybitcoin.com.
Yep.
on.
American Hodl says it. The skepticism and the toxicity to some extent is a feature, not a bug. Keep out the scammers.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Right on.
Agreed. All right. Take us out, Jeff.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening to the Why Bitcoin podcast. Remember, I wanted to make a cool outro. I stumbled. Oh, you know what? This is what it was going to be. Thanks for listening to the Why Bitcoin podcast. Oh, how was it going to go? It was like.
Oh, we're out of time. Okay.
No.
well,
I have it. Okay. Why ask what when you can ask why? What? Okay, cut.